Hi friends, previous videos of this automotive transmission chapter, we have talked about the mechanical gearboxes like the constant mesh gearbox and the sliding mesh gearbox, that is sheet mesh gearbox. We also discussed about the mechanical clutch and as well as the torque converter. Now onwards, we'll be talking about the automatic transmissions because the majority of the present generation vehicles are fitted with automatic transmissions, and almost 100% of the construction as well as the mining missions are fitted with automatic transmissions. We'll focus on how an automatic transmission functions, which are all the critical components of the automatic transmission, and what is the job and role of individual component in the automatic transmission. To start with, in this video, I will be talking basic functions of some of the critical parts in the automatic transmission and how an automatic transmission works. So automatic transmission does the exactly same job of the mechanical gearbox in a vehicle, but its operation is entirely different from the mechanical gearbox. Okay. There you need to press the clutch, you need to select the required gear manually, whether downshift or upshift. Whereas in case of automatic transmission, the gear shifting occurs automatically based on the various factors like this load at the output shaft and also the engine speed. How this automatic gear shifting takes place, that will be discussing in this video. When we talk about the automatic transmissions, just when we go back to history, in 1933, a two-speed, that is forward two speeds, auto shift transmission but fitted with a mechanical clutch was introduced. And as the time progressed, in 1940, two-speed auto shift transmission but fitted with the fluid coupling was introduced. And as further time progressed, in 1965, the fluid coupling was replaced with the torque converter, this one, which we have discussed in the part 6. The fluid coupling is replaced with the torque converter, and this two-speed automatic transmission has further developed into multi-speed automatic transmission. And by 1980, a device called lockup clutch has been added in the transmission to give more fuel efficiency. And gradually, the mechanical control valves, the hydraulic control valves which are fitted in the automatic transmission are replaced with the electronic control units for precision load sensing and shifting. All the modern automatic transmissions incorporate a great deal of digital intelligence in sensing the load sensing at the output shaft and sending signal to engage the appropriate gear and sending signal to engage the appropriate grade depending on the load conditions. So let us have a look on the various critical parts fitted in the automatic transmission. This is the cross section of automatic transmission. The first one is the torque converter, which I have discussed, and then this is the charging pump. The red one is the charging pump. Then these lines these are called clutch packs. Okay, and these are called the planetary gear units. We'll discuss about the working of each and every component in detail. These are planetary gear units. Then this is the control valve. This particular control valve holds many valves like the main pressure regulator valve, shift signal valve, trimmer valves, hydraulic governor, and so many other things for the smooth and effective functioning of the transmission. When you cut the transmission, it looks like this. Again, I will explain you once again. This is the torque converter. In this place somewhere, the charging pump will be there. These are all gears. They are called as planetary gears units, and these are all called clutch plates. Okay, this is the control valve. Again, this control valve holding many other components. The charging pumps looks like this. This is a zero torque pump creating suction at one end and delivering the oil at other end. When you assemble the lube oil pump, it looks like this. The purpose of this pump is to supply the hydraulic oil sucking from the sump and supplying to the various components fitted in the transmission, that is the clutch packs mainly, to the control valve, gears, bearings, etc. These are called the planetary units. We'll discuss about the planetary units in detail. Okay, these are some bearings, right? This is the control valve. This is the control valve. You can see so many valves are there. Modulator spring, there is a modulator valve, and forward engagement control spring. This is forward engagement valve. Suppose this is like this. This is called a shift signal valve. There will be torque converter pressure regulator valve. There will be main pressure regulator valve. There will be lubrication valve, and there will be trimmer valve. So many valves are there. And the job of the main pressure regulator valve is to maintain a defined pressure to engage the clutches through pistons. Oil comes from the charging pump, and the job of this one is, if it is excess pressure, it has to release. This is the job of the main pressure regulator valve. So it has to maintain the hydraulic oil pressure at defined level to engage the clutches through the piston via respective shift signal valves. This is the dismantled view of one of the automatic transmission. This is the clutch. This is the control valve here, like this. These are the clutch packs. Clutch pack means the combination of friction plates and the reaction plates, and the pistons, planetary gears, etc., etc. The planetary gears looks like this. There will be mainly four components will be there: the ring gear, the sun gear, and the planetary pinions, and another fourth component called a case, planetary case, which is connecting all the planetary pinions together. The principle of the planetary gear is, when you give the input drive to any one of these three components and hold the other component, that is apply the brake on the other component, the third component will become the output. The speed of the output, the torque level at output shaft will vary, and direction of the rotation will vary depending upon the input, braking and output, which we will discuss in detail. So how the braking effect comes to the planetary valve through the clutch packs, this figure will explain. This is a unit, okay, assembled with the clutch packs and piston and lock ring. You can see when the clutch pack is dismantled, the clutch pack mainly consists of two types of plates. One is the reaction plate, normally with external teeth or external tangent plate made with steel. The other component is called the friction plate, made with the graphite and some other alloy material. It will be having, in majority cases, the internal teeth. So a combination of reaction plate and the friction plate is called the clutch pack. It will be like this. So it will be placed one over the other, will be assembled like this, and will be a retaining lock will be placed. How they will function, you can see here. Example, let us think. This is the sun gear. These are the planetary gears. Planetary case, the green one, right? And this blue one is the ring gear. Now you have applied input through the ring gear, say input shaft, whereas you have applied the brake. Where we have applied the brake? You have applied the brake to the drum. Where this drum is connected? This is connected to the sun gear. So you have applied the brake to the sun gear. How the brake is applied? These are the clutch packs, and at the end or beginning of the clutch packs there is a piston. This yellow block, this is a piston, and the oil from the shift signal valve of the control valve is directed here. Oil comes and applies the pressure on the piston, and the piston pushes these clutch plates closer to these plates. So together, holding all plates together. So like this, the brake is applied here. This is the because this is the stationary member. Okay, this thing is applied here. Brake is. If the brake is applied here, then this will become the output. Input is the green one. That is the ring gear, and holding is the sun gear, and the output will be planetary gear. See, the assembled planetary gear unit will be like this. Now let us look on this flow diagram, which explains how the gear is engaged in an automatic transmission. Okay, this is the sump, oil sump. This is the charging pump. The blue one is the suction line. The charging pump sucks the oil and releases, delivers with the pressure. First, the oil go to the main pressure regulator valve. The desired pressure is maintained by this valve, and oil is supplied to the control valve. You can see like this. Okay, control valve, main relief, all this thing and all. Simultaneously, a portion of oil also will go to the converter line. Simultaneously, a portion of oil, this orange line, will go to the torque converter regulator valve. So from torque converter regulator valve, because the torque converter oil needs comparatively lesser pressure than the main pressure. That's why the portion of oil will come here, and the pressure is regulated as per the design, and the oil will go to the converter pump. From converter pump, then converter in, then converter pump, then again it is a turbine. So whatever the return oil is there is the converter out. Out is the converter return. It comes back like this. Again, whatever the return oil will go to the sump again back. There will be a cooler. So many components are. The return oil will pass through the cooler like this. So then what happens? The converter keep doing its job, and whereas the red line which is going to so many valves. Okay. This is one valve, control main relief valve, and there will be shift signal valves. You can see there is accumulator valve. The accumulator valve is not to give any kind of jerking effect during the change of the gear. Like that, accumulator valves are there. Then there will be shift signal solenoids will be there. From here, the oil will go to the respective clutches. I will go to the respective pistons. From there, the clutch is engaged. So this is all the diagram. There will be another valves will be there. Okay, modulator valve. This is the modulator valve, etc., etc. So many solenoids are there. Precisely speaking, oil is sucked from the charging pump. A portion of oil is supplied to the clutch engaging section via so many valves, and a portion of oil will be supplied to the torque converter to run the torque converter. All the return oil will come to the sump via the cooler. And how the gears are engaged? When the engine rotates, the torque converter pump also rotates as the same connected to the flywheel. Simultaneously, charging pump also rotates along with the engine. Torque converter pump rotates, turbine rotates, and drive will go to the transmission input shaft. Same way, the charging pump rotates as explained. The oil will pass through so many valves. Okay. Oil leaving from the charging pump passes through main pressure regulator valve, which maintains the set pressure and opens when the pressure is exceeded. Normally the main pressure will be around 150 to 200 psi. A portion of the oil from the main pressure regulator valve also goes to the shift signal valves and other valves in the control valve. So normally all the gears are in constant mesh with each other and rotates freely as long as they are in, there is no any clutch engagement. When an operator engages the gear shift lever in a forward direction, or when the vehicle moves from the stationary position, the first oil will go to the lower speed clutches. So the first to the lowest speed gear is engaged, and as the speed is increases, the governor get the signal from the output shaft of the transmission, and again governor send the signal to the control valve to engage the next higher range gear. Before engaging the next higher range gear, the present running gear is disconnected, that is clutch is disconnected, and the next higher range gear is engaged. And as the speed increases further, the running will be disconnected and the next gear will be engaged. Like this it happens in the forward gear. And when the vehicle faces the gradient, steep gradient, or it is stopped, or a brake is applied, at that time again the output shaft of the output speed of the again the output shaft speed comes down, and the governor take the signal from the output shaft, then send the signal to the control valve to disengage the running gear and engage the lower gear to give the more torque. So when the load is increased at the output shaft, lower gear will be engaged, and when the load is decreased, then speed is increased, the next higher range gear will be increased. Like this, the automatic shifting takes place based on the load sensed by the governor and signal sent to the control valve. In case of the electronic control valves, the signals will come through so many sensors fitted at so many places in the transmission, and all these signals get synchronized, and the electronic signals opens the appropriate solenoid to engage the appropriate gear. This is how forward gear engaged. Driver needs to bring back the shift lever into the neutral, then apply a brake for a moment and shift the valve to the reverse position. Then reverse gear is engaged again through the control valve, opening the appropriate shift signal valve and applying the pressure on the respective clutches. Normally in the automatic transmissions, for each set of gears speeds, that is first, second, third, fourth or fifth or reverse, normally the two sets of clutches will be engaged. Two sets of clutches will be engaged to obtain desired speed. This is normal practice, but may vary depending upon the transmission model. This is how an automatic transmission works in brief, and in the coming videos we will discuss about each and every component of the automatic transmission in detail. This is how it looks like, as we have already explained. Go through these 4 pages notes. In case you have any queries or questions, you can contact me. Please note that this is the only basic information about the automatic transmission.